Scott Walker offered us one of the most creepy cult of Reagan moments I've ever seen. This dimwit, of course, wants to be president. So instead of providing us with policy substance and insight, he's going to give us a story which sounds like prophecy, all the while standing in front of a giant painting of Reagan.
Tonette and I, a week and a half ago, celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary. And since Tonette's not here, I can tell you how I always remember our wedding anniversary. It's February 6th. I remember because it's President Reagan's birthday. And if she were here standing next to you, I tell you I remember President Reagan's birthday because it's our wedding anniversary, right? But again, another thing I'm going to tell you that's already, as I anticipate saying this, is going to give me a little bit of a shiver. But not only did we share our wedding anniversary with the birth that we just celebrated, our 20th and his 102nd anniversary of his birth, but as we approached the recall election last year, it dawned on me. It hadn't dawned on me right away when they said it, but as we got closer, it dawned on me that June 5th just happened to be the date that President Reagan was born into eternal life, back in 2004. It's the date he passed. And I mentioned that to Mrs. Reagan when I had the unbelievable honor on November 16th of last year of speaking at the Reagan Library per a letter from her request the week after the recall election. In fact, it was so amazing. I said, sure, because when do I show up? When I come? And they gave us a tour, and Mrs. Reagan, who's 91, is in a wheelchair and hard to get around. We went and saw her over at her home outside of Bel Air, but she didn't get to join us at the library because it's hard to get around. But her board took us around the library, which I'd never been to before. If you get up to LA, you got to go to. I'd been to the Reagan Ranch the year before, but I hadn't been to the library, and it's really remarkable. But one of the other great privileges I had that was unbeknownst to me that they had set up was we came around the corner on the tour before I gave a speech in front of about 1,000 people at the library, and the curator there had, I see him and he's got white gloves and he's got something in his hand. And they brought over a pair of white gloves to me and they said, no one has touched this since President Reagan. It is his mother's Bible that he took the oath of office on. Mrs. Reagan would like you to hold it and take a picture with him.
It's a cult. It's a cult. It's worse than Scientology. Are you hearing what he's saying? First of all, I don't believe that story at all. I don't believe it for a second. The Emperor O Holy One's book, which his mom gave him, nobody else has touched it since he died. Nobody's touched it because it's oh so holy, but Nancy wants you to hold it because you're the chosen one. That's what he's trying to make you believe this is destiny, that he becomes president of the United States. He's trying to dupe these people over with a pseudo-religious story here. Did you hear what he said? He's like, well, my wedding anniversary is on the same day as Reagan's birthday, and my recall election, which I won, was on the same day that Ronald Reagan moved into his eternal afterlife, the day of his death. So he's trying to do, this is the same thing that religions do. When it comes to, various ones born on December 25th, born of a virgin. Next, he's going to say something like that, right? Like, we hear Ronald Reagan was born of a virgin. Well, did you know I am his prophet? I'm the one that comes after him in the religion of Reagananity. I was going to go with Reaganism, but that's more political than religious. So I tried to do Christianity and Reagananity. Didn't work out too well. But I think you get the point. These guys don't even know what Ronald Reagan really did. That's the creepiest part of this. You think Scott Walker could tell you, like, let me give you all of Reagan's policy proposals, what he implemented, let me give you relevant facts about his time in office. They can't do that. Because if they did that, very quickly they'd go, oh, this guy is actually not what we thought he was. Now, in many ways, he was conservative, right? And in very negative ways. So, for example, He loved deregulation, and that fucked up the American economy. George W. Bush did that as well, fucked up the American economy. He also did this now infamous welfare queen fear-mongering, where he just made stories up about welfare queens. They drive a Cadillac and make over $100,000 a year. Damn welfare queens, all from various government programs. No evidence those people ever exist. They just say it to try to get white people to, destroy the social safety net because they want white people to feel like all that money's going to lazy black people. So in that respect, he's conservative. Also, of course, he took the top marginal tax rate from 71% down to, I believe, 25%. So, yeah, in many ways he was conservative. But he also did what? Deficit spending. It soared under him. He developed Medi-Cal, which is the biggest single-payer healthcare system in any state in America for the poor people of California. He did more wilderness protection laws than any president in history. You think Scott Walker knows that? If you were to bring that up to him, he'd be able to tell you? Not a chance in hell. He was a former Union president. He gave amnesty to undocumented immigrants. He cut and ran from Lebanon. He sold weapons to Iran. I thought, these guys were like, Iran is so evil, we hate them in every way. Except when our Saint Overlord President Reagan decided to give them weapons. In that case, we liked arming them. And of course, as governor of California, he signed a pro-abortion bill. Bet you they don't know that. And Reagan in 1991 on the issue of gun control said this, quote, "I support the Brady Bill and I urge the Congress to enact it without further delay." So these guys don't know the facts on Reagan. These guys don't know the policy substance that goes into it. And they don't know what he actually implemented. All he's doing here is playing off the emotions of a group of people that are not that bright. He's touching that religious nerve and making people go, oh, I'm orgasming over Reagan. Oh, all the dates line up. You were married on the day that he was born and the re-election on the same day that he died. Oh, God, I can't. Reagan-gasm. Oh.